All right, so are you ready to like really dive deep into ChatGPT?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, you sent me a ton of articles on this,
I do.
and it's clear that you really want to get past the hype
Yeah.
and figure out what ChatGPT can really do.
For sure.
Okay, so first things first, what is ChatGPT really?
Right.
I keep hearing it's not just like a super fancy Google search or something, so
Yeah.
what's the deal?
That's a good question. You're on the right track there. Think of it this way.
Okay.
Imagine that Google search got this massive upgrade. Instead of just finding information,
Uh-huh.
it can actually process and generate it.
Oh, wow.
Almost like it's having a conversation with you.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that's because it's a large language model,
Okay.
meaning that it's been trained on a massive amount of text data to understand and respond in a really human-like way.
So it's like it's learning from all this text,
Oh.
and then it can like talk back to us using what it's learned.
Yeah, it can process, it can summarize, it can generate, it can even do things like write poems and scripts.
Yeah. Wow. So it's not just finding stuff, it's like creating stuff.
Right.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I've also heard there are different versions of ChatGPT.
Yes.
So like what's the difference? Is it like choosing between like a regular phone and like the newest smartphone?
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Okay.
So you have ChatGPT 3.5, which is the free version that most people use.
Uh-huh.
It's great for simpler tasks like summarizing text or answering basic questions.
Gotcha.
But then you have ChatGPT 4,
Okay.
which is a paid subscription service.
Okay.
Think of it as like the pro version. It's much better at handling complex requests, understanding nuances,
Okay.
and like we said, even creating different creative text formats.
So ChatGPT 4 is like the more powerful big brother
Exactly.
of ChatGPT 3.5.
Yeah, like a souped-up version.
I like that.
Yeah.
So it's almost like having like an assistant who's always learning and getting better.
Definitely.
Yeah. And speaking of getting things done, these articles are packed with potential benefits, like 24/7 availability, automation.
Absolutely.
It's almost like science fiction is becoming reality.
It really is. And what's fascinating about the 24/7 availability is how this could completely change the game for global business.
That's true.
I mean, imagine customer service that never sleeps, able to answer questions and solve problems in any time zone.
That would be a total game changer.
Totally.
Especially as more companies go international. I mean, one article even mentioned how some businesses are using ChatGPT for tasks like scheduling appointments
Yeah.
and data entry. Like, talk about a time saver.
Huge time saver.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The automation potential is huge.
Yeah.
But it goes beyond just saving time.
Oh.
It's also the versatility of it. ChatGPT isn't just for tech companies.
Right.
We're seeing it pop up everywhere, from marketing to healthcare.
Really?
It can analyze marketing data to help craft better campaigns.
Okay.
It can even assist doctors in interpreting patient information.
Wait, seriously, AI helping doctors?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Okay, so what about that whole thing with languages?
Right.
Can ChatGPT really translate and communicate in different languages?
Yeah, it's true. ChatGPT has very impressive multilingual capabilities, which means it can translate languages in real time, which you can imagine would break down communication barriers and open up a whole new world of international collaboration.
Okay, so ChatGPT is like this amazing multilingual super assistant.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, but I gotta ask,
Sure.
what about the downsides?
Yeah.
Some of these articles you sent mention concerns about accuracy and even potential legal issues.
Right.
I gotta admit, that part made me a little nervous.
Yeah, it's important to approach any new technology, I think, with a healthy dose of skepticism.
For sure.
It's a powerful tool,
Yeah.
but it's not perfect.
Right.
And one of the key things to remember is that its output is only as good as the data it was trained on.
Okay, so it's like if you teach a kid bad information, they're going to say the wrong things. It's exactly. ChatGPT learns from the data it's given. And if that data contains inaccuracies or biases, those can be reflected in its responses.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
One article talked about how the New York Times is suing OpenAI,
Right.
the company behind ChatGPT.
Yes.
What's that all about?
It's a really interesting case. The lawsuit raises some complex questions about copyright and AI.
Okay.
Since ChatGPT is trained on vast amounts of text data, including copyrighted material, there are concerns about whether its output could be considered copyright infringement.
So if ChatGPT writes something that's really similar to like a copyrighted book,
Yeah.
that could be a problem.
That's the heart of the issue.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a very gray area legally.
Yeah.
And the courts are still figuring out how to apply existing copyright laws to AI-generated content.
Wow, that's pretty intense.
It is.
Okay, and you mentioned biases earlier.
I did.
Can you give me an example of what that looks like in the real world? Sure. Think about a situation where a company is using ChatGPT for customer service.
Okay.
Now, if the training data included biased language or examples,
Mm-hmm.
those biases could show up in how ChatGPT interacts with customers.
So it's like it could learn to be prejudiced.
Right, and that could lead to unfair or even discriminatory outcomes.
Yeah, that's a scary thought.
It is.
And this is all happening with customer service, which is usually pretty straightforward.
Right.
What happens when you start applying ChatGPT to things like education or healthcare, where the stakes are so much higher?
You're hitting on a really important point there, and it's something that a lot of experts are grappling with.
Yeah.
One of the sources you sent actually focuses specifically on ChatGPT's use in education,
Okay.
and it highlights both the exciting potential and the serious concerns.
Okay, I'm really curious about that, because on the one hand, it sounds like ChatGPT could revolutionize learning,
Uh-huh.
but on the other hand, it feels like opening Pandora's box.
Yeah, I hear you.
Tell me more.
Well, one of the biggest concerns is plagiarism.
Oh, yeah, of course.
If students can use ChatGPT to write their essays or complete their assignments,
Right.
what does that mean for academic integrity?
Yeah, how do you know if the student actually learned the material
Right.
or just had a robot do their homework for them?
Exactly, and it goes beyond just essays.
Okay.
Imagine using ChatGPT to generate answers for a test.
Wow.
It raises a lot of questions about how we assess learning and ensure fairness in education.
It's almost like ChatGPT is forcing us to rethink what education even means.
In a way, yeah, it really is. And it's not just about catching cheaters either.
Right.
It's about ensuring the students are developing critical thinking skills,
Mm-hmm.
the ability to analyze information and form their own opinions.
Right.
If they're relying on AI to do all the heavy lifting,
Yeah.
are they really learning?
That's a really good point. But I also see the other side of it.
Okay.
What about students who struggle with writing or have learning disabilities?
Yeah,
Could ChatGPT help them express their ideas more effectively?
absolutely. That's one of the most promising aspects of this technology. The potential for ChatGPT to personalize learning and make education more accessible is huge.
Wow.
Imagine a student who struggles with grammar or sentence structure
Uh-huh.
being able to use ChatGPT to help them craft well-written essays.
Or what about students who are learning English as a second language?
Yeah.
Could ChatGPT help them understand complex material more easily?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It could be a game changer for students who face barriers to traditional learning.
That's amazing.
But again, it comes back to that balance.
Right.
How do we utilize the benefits without creating new problems?
It's a tough question. And honestly, it feels like the more we learn about ChatGPT, the more questions we have.
It really does. That's the nature of groundbreaking technology. It challenges our assumptions and forces us to reevaluate how we do things.
I'm definitely starting to see that. It's almost like ChatGPT is a mirror, reflecting back at us our own hopes and fears about the future.
That's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah.
And it's a conversation that we need to be having. Not just about ChatGPT specifically,
Right.
but about the role of artificial intelligence in our lives.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
And it's clear that ChatGPT is a powerful tool with both incredible potential
Yes.
and some serious concerns.
For sure.
And as we delve deeper into your research, we'll explore how these issues are playing out in the real world and what it might mean for the future. Sounds like a plan. Stay tuned because this deep dive is just getting started.
So we've talked about the potential and the pitfalls of ChatGPT, but it's clear that this technology is rapidly evolving.
Yeah, it really
It's
is.
not just a static tool, right? It's
Right.
constantly learning and improving.
It's almost like watching a science fiction movie unfold in real time.
I know, right?
I mean, just a few years ago, the
Yeah.
idea of having a conversation with AI seemed impossible, and now it's
Really?
becoming commonplace.
Yeah, and that rapid evolution
Right.
is one of the most exciting and perhaps slightly unnerving things about this technology.
For sure.
What we understand about ChatGPT today might be completely different a year from now.
That's a really good point. So, how do we even begin to wrap our heads around the long-term implications
Right.
of something that's changing so quickly?
That's the question.
Yeah, I mean, where do we even start?
Well, one way to approach it, I think, is to think about the different sectors where ChatGPT is already making an impact.
Okay.
So we touched on customer service and education,
Right.
but the applications go way beyond that.
Okay, give me some examples. What other areas are being affected by this technology?
We'll take the creative industries, for instance.
Okay.
Some writers are using ChatGPT to help them overcome writer's block.
Interesting.
Or like brainstorm new ideas.
Okay.
Marketers are using it to generate compelling ad copy.
Huh.
Even musicians are experimenting with ChatGPT to compose new melodies.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is.
But like, if AI can write songs and stories,
Yeah.
what does that mean for human creativity?
Right.
Will artists become obsolete?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's generating a lot of debate.
Mm-hmm.
Some argue that AI will augment human creativity,
Okay.
acting as a powerful tool to enhance our abilities.
Right.
Others worry that it could lead to a devaluation of human artistry.
I can see both sides of that.
Yeah.
I mean, on the one hand, it's exciting to think about the possibilities of like collaborating with AI to create something truly unique.
Uh-huh.
But on the other hand, there's something special about human expression that I'd hate to lose.
I hear you. I think it's a delicate balance.
Yeah.
And it's something that society will need to grapple with as AI becomes more sophisticated.
For
The
sure.
key, I believe, is to view AI as a partner in the creative process,
Okay.
not as a replacement for human ingenuity.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's about finding ways to work together,
Yeah.
to leverage the strengths of both human and artificial intelligence.
Exactly. And that collaborative spirit
Yeah.
is something that we see emerging in other fields as well.
Like what?
For example, in healthcare,
Okay.
doctors are starting to use ChatGPT to assist with diagnosis and treatment planning.
Interesting.
But it's not about replacing the doctor's expertise,
Right.
but rather providing them with additional insights and tools
Okay.
to make more informed decisions.
So it's like having a super smart assistant
Yeah.
who can analyze vast amounts of data
Uh-huh.
and offer suggestions,
Right.
but ultimately the human doctor is still in charge.
Exactly. And that brings up another really important point.
Okay.
Human oversight.
Okay.
You know, as AI becomes more integrated into our lives,
Yeah.
it's absolutely crucial that we maintain human control and ensure that it's being used ethically and responsibly.
You mentioned ethics earlier, and I have to admit that's one of the things that worries me most about AI.
Uh-huh.
Like, how do we make sure that these powerful tools aren't used for harmful purposes?
Right. Well, it's a valid concern.
Yeah.
One of the key challenges with AI is that it can reflect and even amplify the biases that exist in the data it's trained on.
Yep.
So if we're not careful, we could end up with AI systems that perpetuate discrimination and inequality.
That's a scary thought.
It is a scary thought.
Yeah.
So how do we prevent that from happening?
Right.
Well, it starts with awareness.
Okay.
We need to be mindful of the potential for bias in AI systems and take steps to mitigate those biases.
How do we do that?
Well, this includes things like carefully curating the data used to train AI models
Mm-hmm.
and implementing safeguards to ensure that AI decisions are fair and equitable.
That makes sense, but it also sounds like a really complex problem.
It is.
It's not just about fixing the technology.
Right.
It's about addressing the societal biases that feed into it.
You're absolutely right. It's a multifaceted challenge that requires collaboration between technologists, policymakers, ethicists, and society as a whole.
It feels like a huge responsibility.
It is.
And I wonder if we're truly ready for it.
Yeah.
I mean, technology is advancing so rapidly.
I know, it's hard to keep up, right?
Yeah.
It's true, the pace of change can be overwhelming. But I also believe that humans have an incredible capacity for adaptation and innovation.
Okay.
Throughout history, we've faced new challenges and found ways to overcome them.
I hope you're right.
Me too.
But even if we manage to address the ethical concerns,
Yeah.
there's still so many other questions. Like,
Yeah.
what happens to the workforce as AI becomes more capable of automating tasks?
Uh-huh.
Are we all going to be out of jobs?
That's a question that a lot of people are asking.
Yeah.
And it's understandable to feel some anxiety about the potential impact on employment.
For sure.
Some experts predict that certain jobs will inevitably become automated.
Mm-hmm.
But others argue that AI will also create new opportunities in industries that we can't even imagine yet.
So it's not necessarily about jobs disappearing,
Right.
but rather the nature of work changing.
Exactly. Just as the Industrial Revolution transformed the way we work centuries ago, AI has the potential to reshape the landscape of employment in the 21st century.
Right.
The key will be to adapt and evolve, to embrace new skills and opportunities.
It's almost like we're standing at the edge of a new frontier, and we're not quite sure what lies ahead. It's both exciting and a little bit terrifying.
I agree. That's a very apt analogy.
Yeah.
And as with any exploration into uncharted territory, there will be risks and rewards.
Right.
The key is to proceed with both caution and optimism,
Okay.
to learn from our mistakes
Yeah.
and to never lose sight of our humanity.
I like that caution and optimism.
Yeah.
It feels like the right approach for navigating this complex and ever-changing landscape.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And as we continue our deep dive into the world of ChatGPT, we'll explore these issues in greater depth.
Okay.
Examining the real-world applications, the ethical dilemmas, and the potential futures that lie ahead.
Okay, I'm ready to keep exploring. This deep dive is turning out to be a real eye-opener.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential of ChatGPT and all the ethical challenges and the impact on different industries. But, like, if we zoom out even further, what does all of this mean for society as a whole?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Right.
And there's no easy answer.
Right.
But I think it's helpful to view ChatGPT as like a catalyst.
Okay.
You know, it's accelerating trends that were already underway.
Okay.
Like the increasing reliance on technology and the blurring lines between like the physical and digital worlds.
Okay, I'm following you, but like, how does ChatGPT specifically change the game?
Yeah.
It's not the first AI out there, right?
Right. What's different about ChatGPT, I think, is its accessibility and ease of use.
Okay.
In the past, interacting with AI often required specialized knowledge and expensive software. But ChatGPT, on the other hand, is available to anyone with an internet connection.
That's true.
I mean, this means more people are experimenting with AI, exploring its capabilities, and thinking about its implications.
So it's like AI has gone mainstream, and that opens up a whole new set of possibilities, but also a whole new set of concerns. Okay, so I'm starting to see the bigger picture here.
Yeah.
But what does this mean for me personally? Okay. What steps can I take to, like, navigate this AI-powered future?
Well, first and foremost, stay informed.
Okay.
The world of AI is constantly evolving. So keep up with the latest developments.
You're right.
Read articles, listen to podcasts, engage in conversations about the ethical and societal implications of AI. The more you understand, the better equipped you'll be to make informed decisions about how you interact with this technology.
That's good advice. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by all the changes, but I guess knowledge is power.
It really is. And don't be afraid to experiment.
Okay.
You know, ChatGPT and other AI tools are becoming increasingly accessible.
Yeah.
So try them out, explore their capabilities, see how they can enhance your work or personal life. The more you experiment, the more comfortable you'll become with this technology.
I like that approach.
Yeah.
Stay informed and get hands-on.
Right.
It feels less intimidating that way.
It does. And remember, this is a journey we're all on together.
Yeah.
As AI continues to evolve, we'll need to adapt, collaborate, and find ways to harness its power for the greater good.
Well said. It's clear that ChatGPT is just the beginning.
Yeah.
We're at the dawn of a new era, and it's up to all of us to shape the future of AI in a way that benefits humanity.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, thanks for guiding us through this deep dive.
Of course.
I think I'm starting to see ChatGPT and the whole world of AI in a new light.
That's great to hear. It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is to keep asking questions, stay curious, and engage in thoughtful conversations about the role of AI in our world.
You heard it here first, folks. The future is full of possibilities, and AI is going to play a big part in it. Stay tuned, stay informed, and keep exploring. Until next time.